Hello, you're watching Vision Plus. I'm Bonnie Libhart, and I have a sweet friend of ours that Sue told me about, Sue Alexander. I know a lot of you know her, and I want you to tell us your name and what you are about yourself.
All right. First of all, my name is Winston Roberts.
I call him Sir Winston.
And yeah, others have called me Winston Churchill, so that's not...
Well, that's part of our history. When Winston Churchill had 400,000 prisoners of war that came, he talked Roosevelt into bringing to the United States.
Now, I don't remember why my mother saying the reason she named me Winston. I can't. I don't know why she called me that. But anyway,
I like it.
It stayed with me.
Stayed with you your whole life. Huh?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And let's see.
So you were not actually. You were too young to be in World War II, but you know a lot.
Almost.
Almost.
Almost. I got as far as Fort. What was his name?
Is that wasn't Camp Oglethorpe.
Fort Oglethorpe. I got that far. And they told me, son, I'm going to have to send you back home, and you're going to have to eat some more beans and taters. I was physically to their standards. I didn't match up to what they wanted.
That's what they did to one of my brothers.
Well, so being small, that was
a wonderful
I didn't want to go to war anyway.
No.
So I was lucky in that respect. But, well, let me see. I think I'll back up and start with my ancestry.
Good.
My Roberts people came from Halifax County, Virginia, and they decided to move to Tennessee, which a lot of people were at that time, and they first moved to Finch Branch, just off of Stones River near Murfreesboro. And so they were there for a short period of time, and the land was selling here on Thompson Creek, so they bought some property here and moved.
I wonder what they paid for it. Did you ever hear?
I don't recall them ever being told how much, but it is very little, I guess. But
now your daughters, both your daughters are here.
Yes.
At this moment.
Carol and Dorothy.
And I want to remind them that if they think of anything that you and I might forget to mention, then by all means, remind us, Carol and Dorothy.
Yes, I'm short memory. I can't remember things as well as I used to. And but anyway, my people bought property here on Thompson Creek, and that's where my grandparents were for a long time. And I'm happy and pleased that I am still inherited some property here and still at that home place where they moved to.
And you're 89 years young, aren't you?
I'm almost there.
87.
87, almost 88.
Okay, I added a couple of years. That's not very nice.
Yeah.
We like to do that when we're 13 or 14.
I feel like I'm lucky that I'm still living, because my cousins that used to live here, both of them have passed away, and other cousins that lived in the area, they're all gone. So I'm one that's
and you got
lucky.
your bright mind.
Well,
yes, you do.
My memory's leaving me.
I don't believe that. Carol and all of us disagree with that.
Well,
tell us a little bit about, they came here and lived in Tennessee. You could say that's almost the Gardner name. They started in Halifax, Virginia, and came to this part of Tennessee. Then
the name Roberts is Welsh.
Yes,
And
we were called Black Dutch. I never knew why that was true, but anyway, we're German and English and Black Dutch, whatever that means. But I think it's from Wales originally. So you were Welsh, and did you marry a Welsh girl?
Uh,
Scott's Irish.
Scotch Irish?
Scotch Irish.
Scott's
Okay.
Irish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I lost Rachel here a while back.
I'm so sorry. I lost my husband recently.
And you know how it is. Lost. I get up sometime in the morning, wake up, and say, "What's wrong? Something wrong."
I don't smell coffee brewing.
Brewing.
I still feel like I'm in pretty good health.
That's good. That's
Able to
good.
walk. I'm having to exercise. I'm realizing that I'm losing my strength, and so I take my daily walk up to the cemetery hill here and back.
That's good.
So when I get up there, I'm puffing and blowing. I sit down and rest a while, and then
Come back.
then
About
come
how
back.
far would you say it is up there?
Oh, it's just
Half mile?
well, a little bit less than that.
Uh-huh. At least you're getting out in the air and the sunshine and getting some, making yourself breathe. That's good for your lungs. It's good for you.
Yeah, and I like to look back over this way. That's where my grandparents used to live. They built a log house across the creek. I wish it's still there, but it didn't last very long. I did get to see it and realize that they once lived there, and then their son, Thomas Lacey Roberts, built a log house up this little driveway here, and so that's where I was born and raised. And then my grandmother's place was right here. I couldn't save the house. It was deteriorating real bad, so I finished tearing it down and built this house. And so I'm thankful that I'm still look at these trees. I thought, well, my grandmother lived here and saw these trees, and I kind of believe my uncle Roy Roberts, brother to my dad, Claude Roberts, and I believe they set these trees out here and the trees out at the other place there. So
Glad they did that. You got the shade of the tree. And some of them are really interesting. An artist would like to draw because they got limbs going different directions.
Yeah. I lost one tree. You see, it's half of it's already gone. But
So what did you do when you were growing up? Did you have to pick cotton, chop cotton?
well, no, I tell you, the cotton.
Wasn't you?
Someone gave me some cotton seed. My parents didn't raise cotton, but
What did
somebody
they
gave me
raise?
some seed to plant, and I experienced seeing the plant grow and pick the cotton
Actually
bolls,
cotton.
you know.
Mhm.
So that's
Now
far
your
we
daughter
got.
needs to get some cotton for her spinning wheel, so we'll have to help her get that
Yeah.
done. But how did they make a living? Your
Well,
parents?
they lived off the farm. They were farmers, and
Meaning they grew corn
Grew-
and
all the food. They raised everything
raised
that
everything.
survived on
Mhm,
their vegetables, and they planted some apple trees and some peach trees, and they had fruit and all that sort of thing, you know.
Did they butcher cattle or
I
hogs or
remember. I remember once they butchered a calf for the meat,
Mhm.
and they had pigs, and hogs, small, just a few hogs for the meat.
For food?
The cattle and the swine for the meat. And let me see.
So what did you enjoy doing when you were young? What was fun to you?
Well, I helped with the garden.
Mhm.
My dad put me to work in the garden,
Mm-hmm.
and so I had experience with that.
Did you
And
raise like
I didn't mind that.
bees?
It was enjoyable to help provide for the food, you know.
I had to do the same thing, but I think my mother might have been watching out the window, but she gave me, it was real hot. I was in Arkansas, in northeast Arkansas, and it was so hot. And she wanted me to plant these peas. So I thought, I am so hot. I dug me a hole and I put all the peas down in that one hole.
Oh.
And she said when I came in the house, you got finished quickly, pretty soon.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything. I went on back, and about a week or 10 days later, here came these peas, just
big
like
bunch
that,
of
a
'em.
bunch of them. She made me plant them all over again, but she let me see what would happen. I think she was watching me and saw me do that.
Oh, yeah.
Probably. But I never did that one.
Yeah, you learn by experience what to do next
But I
time, or
still had to
what
put
not to
those
do.
peas. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So you, and you liked working in the garden.
I didn't mind that, did I?
Mhm.
Didn't mind that at all.
Did you have chickens? Have to
Oh,
go get
yeah,
them?
we had chickens.
An egg. You had to go get the eggs.
Chickens and eggs. Nearly everybody around here had some chickens to
Get the
for
fresh
the
eggs.
eggs and also the young fryers for
Mhm.
food.
Sunday
And
dinner.
there's something else I recall. My daddy was enjoyed fishing, and he did a lot of fishing here on Thompson Creek and also Duck River. And what amazed me, he brought in a fish one time. It seemed like huge, as big as I was. Yeah.
And where did he get that? From Thompson?
No, we didn't have them that big in Thompson Creek. That came out of Duck River.
Uh-huh.
And so.
So what kind was it? Did you ever remember?
It was, well, let's see, he caught suckers and red horse. I believe this big fish was a red horse. It was,
Big as a red horse.
no, yeah, but in the springtime when the temperature started rising, warming up the water, that's when they started shoaling, as he called it. So him, his brother, and my uncles and all, they head for the river, and they all fish for those big fish, you know.
Did you go with them sometime?
Well, once I went, but I was in the way that way. They'd wade out in the part of the river, you know, and I wasn't up to wading. I stayed on the bank when I did go. But yeah, that springtime.
What did you eat for lunch when you would go? Sweet potatoes or something like that? Would they bake you some sweet potatoes?
Well, most of the time we didn't carry lunch. We just stuffed it out until
You got
the
that?
evening meal. We could get by pretty well without eating. And I still kept myself doing that today. I thought, well, I missed breakfast. So I don't, sometimes I miss breakfast and
That's
eat
not why
a
you
big
have that schoolgirl
dinner
figure.
lunch. Yeah.
No, you didn't get to, you just kept nice and trim by doing that. Well, what else did you do as a
Well,
child? Did you guys
I
make
tell you-
slingshots and
Oh yeah, I had my own slingshot and I'd
shot the birds?
shoot at birds, but I don't like to kill birds.
No.
I just shoot at targets and do that.
You and David killing Goliath, you know, in the Bible.
Oh yeah.
Ask,
Well, my slingshots was much different from David's.
ask about his variety of pets.
Yeah, how many, tell me all about your pets. Now, on the farm we had.
I had one pet. I had several pets, but I had one pet that was real interesting to people. It frightened them.
Oh.
Skunk.
Oh! Oh my,
yeah,
why would you have a skunk?
That skunk was such
Did
a
it
pet.
have it?
It would follow me everywhere I'd go. I had to keep it away from the dogs, and I
Would it
kept
spray
in-
people, strangers every once in a while?
No. It's accustomed to
I'm not
people.
believing this. I
No,
never
but
heard of a skunk as a
it's-
pet.
Dogs were a terror to it, so I had to keep it in a special pen that the dogs couldn't get it to it, you know. And then I had to get it when the dog was. My dad had hunting dogs. He had some dogs at the Spur Distributing Company in Nashville. And head of that, during the war.
Second World
They were
War.
bombing England, and his English friend sent a whole bunch of dogs to Mr. Hoagland in Nashville. Mr. Hoagland had more than he could handle, and They used to come out in this area because and chase foxes with it. They would hunt on horses. Oh, they were dressed up in their. You've seen them in
Oh yes, fancy,
special
fancy.
coats
Costume.
and boots and caps and everything. It was quite a show to see them, man. None of our neighbors are dressed like that. That's different. So
So you had
I'd
those
watch them coming over the hills, and they jump the rail fences and all that sort of thing, you know.
So were some of the dogs were probably hound dogs?
Yeah,
Or hunting
hound
dogs?
dogs, especially trained for
Hunting.
hunting foxes.
Yes.
They were foxhounds.
My dad bought this was when you could buy bread for a dime. He paid $75 each for 2 dogs. Oh, my mother was not happy about that because that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Then we'd go see my grandmother, and I was always small and short, and they'd put those 2 hound dogs in the back seat with me, and they'd lick my face. Oh, I hated that when they licked my face.
They loved you.
I wanted to smack them, but
Yeah.
Dad wouldn't let me. He wouldn't let them eat biscuits because he said he'd give them worms. So
Oh, yeah.
we did. They were careful to feed those dogs good
Well,
food. And so what did
My
you
mother
do?
didn't enjoy cooking for the dogs.
Mm-mm.
She had to cook big pones of cornbread, and that's what you'd break that up and feed them.
That
the
was
dogs.
better than the biscuits with the white flour.
Yeah, well,
According to my dad.
yeah, well, my dad didn't feed them biscuits either.
They didn't want them to get worms either.
No.
Well, what about what else you did for fun? Now you had how many siblings did you have, brothers?
No,
and
I
sisters?
was the only child.
Only child.
Yeah.
So they had to spoil you always, didn't they?
No, I was spoiled, I guess. But
What'd you do for hassle if you had no siblings, no brothers and sisters, nobody to pester? I had 4
Let's
brothers
see.
I could pester.
yeah. Well,
But did you
I
have
don't-
cousins? Cousins that you could
Oh yeah,
run
I
with?
had cousins for a while that we'd get together because my grandmother lived here, and they'd come see grandma, and I'd come up here to see grandma, and we'd get together here
was
at grandma's place, you know.
So
And she'd always feed us good, you know.
then you worked for a long time. Weren't you an engineer or did you work, what company did you work for?
Oh, I worked for Aero Incorporated at the Arnold Engineering Development.
That's what I thought, Arnold
Yeah.
Engineering
Well,
Development.
before that, I was. You asked me what I was interested in. Well, one of our neighbors, that's back before we had electricity. He built a crystal set radio and wound the coil on a 3-minute oatmeal box,
Oh, okay.
and he scratched a trail off the top of it for the tuner to had a copper pipe to go across to adjust to the proper winding on the coil.
Oh my.
So my dad bought, first of all, he bought a battery set radio since we didn't have electricity. And I had a car battery for the A battery and some expensive high voltage batteries for the other. And that just got so expensive to operate, he said, he just discarded that or put it up in the attic, and we took this crystal set that our neighbor had made, and we'd separate the headphone. One of us listened to this earphone, the other earphone, you know, if we both wanted to listen at the same time, you know, and listen to the Grand Ole Opry and all that sort of thing. Yeah. So.
Did you ever go to the Grand Ole Opry after that?
No, we never did go to Grand Ole Opry.
Never did get to see Jeannie C. Riley or any of those. Okay. Tom D. Hall. Well, what about, you were interested in that though? That
Oh
was
yeah,
fun to
I
you.
got interested in radio. I took it from there, and learned how to make a radio using electron tubes. Some of my
Whoa.
one of my friends. Well, I had one friend in town and one nearby that
Town
gave
being
me
Nashville?
some used tubes that
Uh-huh.
antique.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't use them anymore, so I took one tube and I got some information out of some radio books, you know, and I studied that, and I thought, well, I can make one. So I took that tube and learned what voltage it needed to heat it up, and also a high voltage to make it useful, you know. So I was successful.
All
I
right.
going by the schematic, you know, and it.
Mhm.
And so I've had a one-tube radio
Mhm.
for a while. And then later on, I advanced from that and made a two-tube radio and
Heathkit.
added an amplifier. And I finally got it to where I could listen on a loudspeaker, you know. So I kept going from that. And I didn't know at the time that I was preparing for future
That's right.
work.
That's right. At Arnold Engineering.
And
Mm-hmm.
when before I went to Arnold, I got interested. I found about that amateur radio, and I made my own shortwave radio.
Oh
and
my goodness.
and
You
started
started-
out with telegraphy, you know, and then I advanced from that to where I could use my microphone. I was really tickled to death. I had to get one that I could use a microphone and talk to other people all the
And
time.
probably they could have been
And just
over in
Delighted.
England or New
Yeah.
Zealand or
I
somewhere.
could talk to people when some of my first contacts were in New York.
How about that?
And then later on was some of the Western station all the way to California.
Oh
You know,
my.
so that was really exciting to me
I
that
bet
I
it was.
learned how to do something like that, you know.
You travel mentally to all of those places.
And with that experience, with the amateur license, and I also got advanced to a commercial license and worked for a radio station, broadcast station, as
I
an
did too.
assistant engineer.
Uh-huh.
So I could work that and relieve some of the others. They didn't have to stay there all the time, so they had some.
Do you remember what years that might have been?
Oh me, I don't
Or
know.
what decade it might have been?
I don't know.
In the 50s maybe?
Late 40s and 50s.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When I was 8 years old, my dad got the first big radio I remember. Huge thing, this wide, this tall.
Yeah.
And there would be a little girl sing on that. And I had no sister, so I said, Mother, could we get that little girl out of the radio and let it be my sister? So I always loved radio. Started
that
working.
girl's name was Wood.
Probably.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think so.
Probably.
There was a lady by the name of Wood that sang
sang.
on the radio a lot. And
Well, then always I wanted to work in radio, and I did. I started before I went first when I was like 15 or 16 up to a radio station. He said, well, you get a little older and come back. But anyway, I worked in radio a long time, then in television.
well, oh yeah. Well, now were you on microphone or did you do?
I was an employee and worked there at the station. I was low person on the totem pole, which meant I opened the station of the morning when you had to put it on the air. And then I was the only one there till maybe 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. Other people come. Then sometimes I signed off, you know. Then later I just started interviewing people, interesting people like yourself.
Oh, really?
I love to hear about people's lives because we didn't live the same life. And I really believe with all my heart, Sir Winston, I like calling you that if we don't record history, it may disappear for the future generations, as I say over and over again. But so that's why it's important. Did you do anything between working in radio till you went to Arnold Engineering? Or which station?
No,
And where was
with the
town?
amateur license and the commercial license radio station, and the radio stations, did not, the FCC did not require them to keep a man on duty all the time, an
24/7,
engineer, you
yeah.
know.
Mhm.
Of course, they had to have announcers and people like that, but, so that cut my work back kind of
Too
short.
much.
So I was
Mhm.
working part-time.
Mhm.
I said, well, I got to do something better than this. I wanted to get married, you know.
So, Big Carol and Dorothy's daddy.
So I put my application in at the Arnold Center,
Mhm.
Tullahoma at the wind tunnel,
Mhm.
and hey, took me right away.
All right,
Found out when I got out there my amateur friends and the other radio people that had license, they were hiring it. All of had commercial license
Mhm,
and amateur license, so I went right to work.
And do you remember when that was? What years or decade was that? Still in the 50s?
50s, yeah.
Mhm. And how long did you work there?
I worked till,
You got married after you started
got
working
married,
there,
yeah,
and had these baby girls coming along.
yeah.
And then, when did you retire? Do you remember about when you retired?
Oh, I forget when I retired.
10 years ago?
Oh,
15 years ago?
I don't remember.
Well, what all
When
did you do there at Arnold Engineering?
when I was engineering,
Mhm.
I was on transmitter watch. I had to be there when the electric storm came around,
Uh-oh,
and I was busy then,
you were really
keeping the thing on the air, you know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And one time the lightning struck the tower, and I mean, it shut everything down for a while.
Uh-oh.
So I had to go to work, and
You
get
worked
things
until
back.
you got it done.
yeah, I've got it going again, but
Mhm. Took a while.
uh,
Well, now,
But
all
it
this,
took me a few minutes, and the boss man is one of the owners of the station. Hey, can't you get it going? I said, well, I'll get going as soon as I get off the phone. I was getting calls. What's wrong? What's
you needed a secretary just to answer the phone at
I
that
needed
time.
somebody to
didn't
answer the phone. But anyway, it didn't take me long to get it
you? Get
going
you back on
again.
the air.
So.
And so what did you married your wife, had the children, you're always working at Arnold Engineering at that time.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm off duty on Mondays, and every Monday I'd go to Nashville to see her, you know, see my wife to
Soon,
be, you know.
wife, your fiance.
And I started, well, my work got short, and not enough money, you know.
Mhm.
So I put in and got my work at the Arnold Center. Then I felt that I could get married with some money to
Yeah.
live on, you know.
Mhm. So when did you get married? What year? Do you remember that?
Oh, that was, oh man, 50s?
56.
56, yeah.
Mhm.
So,
June 1st. June 1st.
June 1, yeah.
Mhm.
Tell her,
How did you
Tell-
meet her?
well, tell her first about
Well-
June 1. Tell her what your friend said about June 1st.
Okay, look.
That you got married.
Oh,
You might go ahead, Carol.
I
remind us.
forget what I said.
Mr. Marsh said it'd be an awfully cold day when you got married because you were so shy.
Yeah.
And said it'd be an awfully cold day. And the day that they got married, it was one of the coldest June days.
It was a cold day.
It was-
And
he
when
said
they-
it would be a cold day.
And when they even went to Gatlinburg for their honeymoon, it snowed.
Oh my!
It had
In
snowed.
June.
It had snowed up in the
Yeah.
mountains.
Now, how did you meet somebody from Nashville?
Well, we had a preacher to come from Nashville, and she was she was secretary to the preacher, and so she came with him to Ross.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the first time we met, you know. And
Mhm.
so,
But now explain about Peggy.
oh yeah, well, it was a friend of my first cousin, Peggy Roberts, that lived here.
Mm-hmm.
On this place, and so she they got acquainted at Lipscomb,
Uh-huh. Both of them went to David Lipscomb.
David Lipscomb. Yeah.
I don't know when it was changed from Nashville Bible School, but my mother went there in the 20s when it was called Nashville Bible
I
School.
remember when it was called Nashville Bible School.
You might have gone to school, my mother. Did you go there?
No. I
Okay,
didn't
but
get-
you remember
I
that.
didn't get to go.
But the two girls did. The
Yeah,
cousin,
oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
your
we
Peggy
got
and your cousin Peggy and
Peggy and Mary Frances,
Mhm.
some other friends that we went to church at Ross here.
so when did you tell her how you were feeling? How long did it take you to tell your Mary Frances how you were feeling?
Oh, Rachel.
Rachel.
I mean Rachel.
His cousin, Mary
Oh,
Frances.
okay.
Well, let's see. I don't know how long it was, but it didn't take long to I decided that she was the one for me.
And she must have decided you were the one for her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had dates with other girls, a few, not many, but I decided, I'm not. They didn't.
Rachel
suit me.
is
They
the
didn't
one.
suit me, but Rachel was the one. Yeah.
And I love the way your eyes sparkle when you talk about her. It's so incredible. Well, did Rachel move out here to the country with you from
Oh, yeah.
Nashville?
That made them sort of mad in Nashville. They didn't want to see her leave out and
Yeah,
come way out here.
but she was the secretary
Yeah.
there at the
Yeah.
church. Who was her
Yeah,
preacher?
well, huh?
I mean, who was the preacher? Do you remember?
Stroop.
Stroop.
Jay Ridley.
J. Ridley
Jay
Stroop.
Ridley Stroop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was, what was he?
He was a professor at Lipscomb
Professor.
and registrar.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, she
Yeah.
took care of everybody's grades. That's how she knew everybody. Mama
And
knew.
everybody knew her. too.
That's right.
Mhm.
That is right. She,
And your daughters went to Lipscomb, didn't they?
Yes.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And now you worked there at Arnold Engineering, but there's a camp near here where the
Camp Forest. Now,
and
that's
you
where
knew about the second
Camp Forest and the prisoners of war.
because they worked on my dad's cotton farm, and I'm writing about that, and
Oh,
I want
yeah.
to hear about that.
Yeah.
Did you actually ever go to Camp Forest when they were there?
No,
But you
No.
knew about it.
I knew about it.
What did you know? What did you
Well,
hear?
I just knew that a lot of soldiers were there, and
From Germany. And,
from Germany, the prisoners of war, and Mr. Bomer that had a farm right down here. He worked at the camp,
Mhm.
and he was allowed to bring them out here and work on the farm.
Yeah, that's the way my dad's.
Yeah.
They call my dad a Nazi lover. Some of the neighbors did because he would have them. But my three brothers were in the military, and my mom would take two sawhorses, and Dad would lay an old barn door across those. She'd cover it with a sheet. Then she'd bake sweet potatoes for them to eat. And my grandmother Gardner would churn butter, and then they'd bring fresh tomatoes stuff. So they loved to come to Grandma Taylor, to Miss Taylor's, because they got that food. In fact, they gained weight. And before they went back to Germany, they kind of went on a diet because they didn't want to be so much fatter than they was back home. But they had to stay here an extra year. And I wonder if they did here at Camp Forest. Because after repatriation, after the war was over, they weren't repatriated for one more year because there was no food or lodging. And back in, and no houses, no place to go to.
Oh, yeah.
So,
It's probably that way here, but I don't recall anything being said about
well, my dad would pray at the table for them, and my grandfather, he tried to learn some German, and Guten Morgen, some things, and he. So some of them became Christians as a result of the work that of course they worked there for a couple of years, and I just wish I could ever talk. Do you know anyone we could talk to about what all they did? Was it good? Did the neighbors feel it was okay to have the prisoners of war here? The German Nazi
I don't
prisoners?
recall any problems or anything said about it. They seem me like...
They liked it because it was labor-starved over in our area, dirt, scrabble, poor farms. And they needed those German prisoners of war to work
Yeah.
on the farms.
And I think that the prisoners enjoyed coming out and working
Mhm.
on them.
I think they did too, because they weren't cooped up in a camp somewhere.
Yeah.
And also,
Well.
I wonder if they had the same thing here, where they were only like 17, 18 years old. They looked like my brothers. They were blonde and they looked, they
Yeah.
looked young.
Oh,
I wasn't afraid of
They
them.
look just like us. Huh?
And I was afraid of the guard and his big military. He must have been 6'6", that's what it looked like to me. And he'd have that M16 or whatever he carried. And I was afraid of him, but I wasn't afraid of the prisoner. And I had hair down to my past my waist, and they wanted to touch it because it was red and different, So I let them touch my hair. Didn't bother me. But they just looked like my brother that were in the military. And my mom would feed those prisoners, and she would pray that some mother was feeding her sons.
Oh, yeah.
They were in the Air Force, and
Uh-huh.
2 of them, one in the Merchant Marine. And, but now, how did
Name some of the other neighbors around here, Dad, who had
prisoners of
Germans
war?
working with them.
Yeah.
Well, it's mostly the
Bombers.
bombers.
Mhm.
But didn't some work at the Hickses? Or the Riddles?
I think maybe Mr. Hicks had some.
Your dad didn't have any though, huh?
No, he didn't have any
Mm-hmm.
to work here. I recall some of the German prisoners were talented and would make nice cedar chests and things like that.
They were gifted artists.
They were talented. Yeah.
Mhm. Did any of you get to ever keep any of those or buy them? Or?
No, we didn't get any
Yeah. Mhm.
cedar chests from them or anything.
And so, did you hear stories about like how many were over there? Maybe at Camp Forest. How many?
Oh no, I don't recall how many were there.
Mhm. And did they get to get out in the community at all? Probably not, other than work
Well,
on
the
farm.
prisoners of war were guarded by whoever took them,
Yeah.
So they did. They kept a close eye on them and got them returned, to
Yeah.
camp.
Yes. And what is Camp Forest now? Is there still a Camp Forest, or is it
No,
a museum?
camp
or?
after the war, the camp were well, they sold the buildings for lumber.
Oh my goodness.
They tore the buildings down, and some people bought lumber, and built
Other
houses out of them, And so,
I wonder if they had to stay here an extra year in Tennessee, like they did in Arkansas.
I
Because
don't recall whether they did or not.
you were kind of young at the time, weren't you? When they were here. So what do you think over all your lifetime? How did you become a Christian? Tell me about that.
Oh, well, my mother and dad were Christians, and of course, naturally,
But I mean, you
church
could have a
every-
garage and not be a car. So when did you become a Christian?
Oh, I remember, I don't remember the date, but I remember being baptized.
Did you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where, Daddy?
In the creek,
In this Thompson Creek,
Thompson Creek,
Mhm.
yeah, up there next to the schoolhouse.
they would take you down to the creek and baptize you.
Yeah.
And all your friends were baptized and became Christians.
Most of them.
Mhm. And so, did you have Sunday school and read your Bible and have devotion? Prayer and
Oh, we
all?
had, I wasn't, in later years, I wanted to tell you, my mother was a teacher, and some, the Holts were teachers, and so,
Well, Sue and Carol and Dorothy are here. If you girls think of anything you'd like to ask, please help us now. We can edit out what we need to.
yeah.
So what are some things you'd like to hear?
Daddy, explain about the preachers coming all the time, the different ones. When you were young, who came most often to preach? Because it was a
didn't.
rotation.
Oh, we have,
Didn't have just one like
Right.
they
no,
do
we
today.
had different
And do you remember who any of those were? Who
Well,
were they?
let's see, Stroop and,
Do you remember hearing him say, go ahead?
Gleaves.
Okay.
Gleaves,
Gleaves.
Clyde Gleaves.
And
And then later his son, Marion
Reese.
Reese.
Or Marion Gleaves.
There was another Gleaves, and then Marion Reese
Yeah.
from Flat Creek. And let me see now.
If you think of it,
Was Floyd, was it Jack Floyd? Did he ever preach at Ross? Or was he just Flat Creek?
J.D. Floyd.
J.D. Floyd.
No,
No, he was
we
just,
didn't have a floor.
how
Okay.
many people went to the church there?
Oh, about 30.
Well, now, but you've had as many as 75 to 100.
Yeah, it was a larger crowd back then, seeming like.
What do you think it made it go down, the church, have fewer members now?
I really don't know why it faded out.
Most people go to town.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're here.
Where's town?
We're here
Shelbyville,
halfway.
Tullahoma.
Okay.
We're here halfway between Tullahoma and Shelbyville.
So they would just migrate over there,
Yeah.
see if they could meet a Rachel. What do you think of all of your lifetime has been the most satisfying accomplishment that you feel inside of you? We were able to do this.
Well, I guess helping my dad on the farm, and then I got interested in electronics, and I had one person that came to church that was repaired radios, and another friend over in Shelbyville that radio and television receivers. I went visit them quite often. I don't know whether they got tired of me or not, but anyway, they gave me some old antique tubes that I mentioned earlier, and I went from that and studied electronics and got my license. And no problems at all when I put in my application at Arnold Center. That took me in right away. And that's where
It was a happy day for you
that was a
back when
happy day.
when
That
they
was a
hired
happy day.
you.
I got me a good job, and
And then you knew you could get that girl.
yeah, went after Rachel.
Yeah, that's right. When you think,
Well, explain what you did at AEDC, Daddy. Explain what your
what's
job
actually
was.
your job? What was your job at Arnold?
Well, I was an instrument technician, classified as an infant technician.
And you have to
And,
explain to this country girl what that means.
Well, I could work on and repair instruments that they used. But the main thing, they found out, well, on my application I had radio and photography listed. So, one long, they put me in a photo lab repairing cameras.
All right.
And so that was good. And they bought some new cameras, and they decided, well, we better send that boy to the factory. So they sent me to
Alright.
California, and
Oh my
they
goodness.
taught me how to take them apart and put them back together. And when I got back to the Tullahoma, why, there was one lab nearby that had updated their equipment, and they sent the electron microscope over to my place, and more, that fixed me up great.
You
I
like
learned
that?
how to use it, and I could put the camera back in factory specifications. So didn't have to send the thing back to the factory anymore.
Oh my goodness.
So with that instrument, micrometer, electron optical micrometer, that really put me at, I could do what they did at the factory.
Now explain what those cameras did in the wind tunnel.
Over there, high-speed motion analysis cameras. They had 2 or 3 different types, different manufacturers, and had one exceptionally high-speed camera that would take a picture of a bullet flying.
Whoa.
Bullet, stick a stalk of bullet
Yeah,
in the
I've
photography.
seen those.
Because they had some of their things that they were working on, like the satellites, and they were high speed. They would shoot them out of a gun. This projectile, the test article, shoot them out of a gun, and this high speed camera would take pictures of it. So I kept that in repair, and it finally disintegrated on it. They had to buy a new one for me. So, but the high-speed camera had a rotating prism. Couldn't use a camera with a shutter that stopped open and close. This is a constant and running. They'd get this camera to running and then shoot the article past it, and it'd take pictures of it. So it is
So amazing.
really advanced equipment.
It was.
Yeah.
Can you think what decade that might have been? What years or decades? 70s?
In the
Early 60s.
50s.
Early 60s.
Late 50s, early
Yeah.
60s.
Boy, it makes you wonder what all they can do today when you think
Well,
of what they
they've
did
gone to
then.
digital
Yeah.
photography now, and that came after I was retired. But
Do you remember your age when you retired?
He's right at 65,
65.
55, I think.
65.
65.
Yeah.
What have you been doing since you retired?
Nothing.
Oh,
Coasting, as I tell them.
Now that's not true, Daddy. You worked hard at a lot of different things.
You did a lot of volunteer work at Radio Restoration,
Oh
or
yeah.
Restoration Radio International Network, or
International.
something.
well, exactly what is that?
Well, that was.
Restoration Radio International. What is that?
I don't know how to explain it.
Well, just start by saying it was radio. It went back to radio and taping. Remember, you taped sermons to ship to foreign countries that wanted them
Like
for
on
radio.
VHS?
Oh, yeah, on disc.
Cassettes and then CDs.
Cause yeah, start out cassettes and then compact.
Brother
Just
Beasley,
cassettes.
Brother Roy Beasley.
Yeah.
remember
Just
him.
explain what he did. He'd prepare lessons
Lessons
and sermons.
to send to radio stations all over the country,
Or world, maybe.
all over the world. Yeah,
Philippines.
right.
I taught over in the Philippines.
What about
I love
Africa?
it.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Philippines and Africa. And where else?
I forget a lot of that material.
I think Papua New Guinea.
And now you volunteered, you were not a paid person to do that, you just volunteered.
I volunteered at Restoration Radio in
And where's that located?
Nashville
Oh, Nashville.
or Brentwood.
Brentwood, one of my favorite cities in the whole world. And
Yeah, and I enjoyed working there with Brother Roy Beasley. He did the.
you did the talking, and
He
you
was
did
the
the
preacher,
singing.
and he could do the lessons and all, and I did the
Get on to it. We're supposed to go.
recordings and in shape to go to other stations.
Can you still do some of those recordings? Do you do that?
I don't have equipment to do that with.
But if you
I
had
left that
equipment, you could
in
do
Nashville.
Could you if you had the equipment?
If I had equipment, I could still do it. Yeah.
But
If
now,
someone would do the microphone work, I mean, do the lessons.
explain what you've done for church for years with the cassette.
Oh, I still.
Help him. Go ahead, Carol.
I still tape record all lessons and sermons for those that cannot hear good, and so
How long have you been doing that?
I don't know, long time.
At least
Man,
30
anyhow,
years.
30 years?
I have one lady that's still recording for her that she can't hear good at church.
Mhm.
I've had.
So how do you make it where you could record?
She couldn't handle earphones and headphones, so I had to record high volume
Oh,
on a recording tape, and she can turn it up as loud as she wants to it on
when
her
she gets home.
player, you know.
Yeah, yes.
So she still
Appreciate
thanks
you
me
doing
that
that. Yeah,
because
no,
she can hear good at home when she can't hear it at church.
Uh-huh.
We have audio amplifiers and speakers like
Mm-hmm.
that, but I can't turn it up loud enough for her without
No.
feedback. It goes squealing.
Yes,
And,
and she can't hear it if they put it in the ear because there's a lot
No,
of people
she-
that have those.
yeah,
A few people.
she can't handle it, earphones.
Mm-hmm.
I bought
Wonder what
special
that
equipment
means.
to do that.
That
I
she
still
can't
have,
handle it.
I
She
still,
doesn't like it
bothers
over her
It,
ears.
the ears bother her.
I see.
So like he says, she can crank it up as loud as she wants to at home.
When she gets home.
Uh-huh.
and
other people
You did that for 30
loudspeaker
years?
at home.
So don't you ever say again that you don't do anything since you retired.
Well,
That's very important.
that's
you're
that's
saving-
the main thing I'm doing is recording the lessons at church. And,
Mm-hmm.
He volunteers at the library once a week,
yeah.
and you
Which-
volunteer at the archives once
Okay,
a month.
which library? The one
Shelbyville.
where
Archie
the
Cooper
No.
Library in Shelbyville. I help with replacing the books in the proper places.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And the
I never
history
knew
room.
how to do
Because
that.
In the history
history
room.
the people that use the books put them back in the wrong places.
They're dumb
So
like
we
me.
got signs there, please do not resell books.
They can't read either. Big signs. They need little tiny writing.
So,
You have to have that on the front of every book or at the end of every book. Please do not replace this book. Hand it to.
yeah.
You probably have shelves if we can put those books.
But,
Somebody takes that. So you can see and actually
I
put
can
those
see
back
good, but
and put them back in the right places.
well, yeah, but I stop and think sometimes, where does this go? I forget. So I'll open it up and read it. Oh, I know where that belongs.
That's
So-
good. Boy, that's an invaluable service. I
Right.
think of that so many times at the library because I'm friends of the library in Huntsville, and I think, man, to get all those books put back, that'd drive me nuts. The rest of the way.
Most of the books I just glance at and I know where they go, you know. But
You know what? That's keeping you young by doing those
well,
things.
I hope so.
Uh-huh. Did you ever think
I'm
of
losing my memory?
No, you're not.
Yes, I
You
am.
know, the
Yes,
Bible
I
says
am,
we're...
but I believe this book work is helping me some.
It is. Because it says we're condemned by the words of our mouth, so we're not going to say that anymore.
Yeah.
And because our tongue has the power of life and death, and the good book says, doesn't it? So, well, you have two wonderful daughters and a sweet sister-in-law, cousin-in-law,
Niece.
and niece-in-law, or whatever it is.
Niece-in-law.
Yeah.
Sue, I've known Sue over the years for a couple of decades, probably. I follow her around from church to church,
Sue to Sue.
school to school. And well, so what makes you joyful now? What is just a joyful day for you? Having your two daughters here, huh?
I sleep a lot.
You're smart. But when I hear you say that, everybody.
I read. When I read, I don't stay awake. I go to sleep on my
That's
reading.
good. That's your own sleeping pill, huh? Is
Yeah.
just reading and go to sleep.
Reading and
How long's your wife been passed away?
She
now? And-
passed away in
2010.
2010, wasn't it?
So
August 11th.
this is 2013, so 3 years. So what I hear you saying, that if someone loses a spouse, they need to get busy and do things. Don't just stay home and sleep all day and cry all day, but do things.
Well, I tell you
Volunteer.
what, I'm thankful for my daughters. They come every weekend and sometimes
Do they
more.
cook good food?
They cook good food, and I got more food than I can eat. I've got some in the deep freeze, and So I have a hard time selecting. I see what I'm going to eat today, what I'm going to eat tonight.
What you have to do is like when they have those cans on sale and the labels are off, well, what are we having tonight? I have no clue. Just open it up and eat it.
I've got some emergency cans in there, they live, but I've never opened them. Never had to open them.
Well, they say you got to keep some of that back for emergency.
Yeah.
You never know. Need to keep some water back and some candles and some of those things you had before you ever got electricity.
Yeah.
Now, did you tell your daughters you had to walk 3 miles or 10 miles in the snow barefoot uphill both directions?
Not barefoot. My parents always kept me in shoes.
Oh, good. Yeah.
But and I didn't have to walk to school very often either. I walked when they couldn't take me in the car. You know, I could walk 2 miles to
That's
the
good.
grammar school. You know,
Mm-hmm. That's good.
and
Well, it's been a joy to speak with you and to hear some of your history. And you think there's anything we've left out that you'd like to add?
The schools and all. I became a bus driver.
I always loved my bus driver. That was one
So
of
I
my favorite people.
drove a bus until I retired from that.
How'd you keep all those people on the bus straight? Did you?
Well, I tried. But it gets kind of noisy at times, you know.
So how'd you quieten them down? What would you
Well,
say?
I remember over near between here and Shelbyville, I had one boy that was troublesome, and I had to stop the bus, get up, and you're getting off this bus. I had to put him off the bus.
Just in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah. Well, no, it was really close to it. It
Good.
wasn't
He
too
could
far
walk.
from
He
home,
could
but
walk on to school
he was
or on to home.
gave me so much trouble. I just had to stop the
What
bus.
would he do that gave you trouble?
Oh, I don't know. Aggravating
Noisy.
others and loud talking and all that stuff, you know.
Trying to
That's
kiss
just
the girl?
out of
Something.
control.
Yeah.
Now
Well,
the reason you were able to ride or drive the bus was because you were drafted, didn't finish school, and then you went back, and that was part of your transportation to and from, right?
Yeah, I had to go back and finish my high school, so I drove the bus.
And then went to school.
Went to school.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
I was.
you had a full life.
Yeah, I was. I guess I mentioned it earlier. I was drafted and went to Fort Oglethorpe, and they said, "Son, you're going to have to go back home, eating more beans and taters."
That was good.
Now, Daddy, explain a little bit about the maneuvers, the practice maneuvers in this neighborhood.
Oh yeah, they were.
Patton's Army practiced here.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Pat,
General Patton, from here to where Billy Sue was raised in Coffee County, Pocahontas and all that direction, was all of this area was similar in the landscape to France, and they knew that. So they came here. So, Daddy, explain some of your adventures with
Did
the
you
soldiers.
get to meet Patton?
I got to hear him. He used some special languages. It couldn't go. They were pretending that the bridge was blown out. They was making them go through the creeks everywhere, you know. And the tanks and the trucks and all got hung up in the creek up here. So Patton had some special words for them.
Very loud.
Yeah.
Very amplified.
Very
She
much.
could have heard him, huh? That deaf person in your church.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Everybody did.
And I remember I seen some tracks up here on the farm. I thought, I'm going to follow the tracks. And I found out that one Jeep had gone over, torn the fence down. There was a rotten post there, so they broke the fence down and went over the wire. But they did prop it back up again. They were nice enough. They had a lot of damages to pay some of the farmers around here. We didn't get anything out of that one fence there, but they had
They would
do
be,
some. I remember one person, I felt sorry for Mr. Brinkley down here, had a potato patch near the creek. Well, they couldn't go across like wooden bridges. Well, wooden bridges weren't good enough for the tanks anyway, you know,
No.
heavy equipment.
no.
Anyway, the tanks and the trucks and all had to go through the creek. Well, that tank went down through the potato patch and twisted, and he's trying to figure out where it could go in the creek without a stick going off the
Yeah.
steep bank, you know. So he twisted and he tore that potato patch all to pieces.
So did they reimburse the farmer for the potatoes?
There was a crew that came around after maneuvers, and
How long were the maneuvers about?
They paid the farmers for
That's
the
good.
damage.
How long do you think the maneuvers
Do you
were?
remember, Dad, when they started around here in the maneuvers?
Oh, well, I don't know. They weren't right on our property, but one day they were moving on.
But they stayed further down a while, coming through and so forth,
Oh yeah.
because
Yeah.
they had they
I
played.
think-
They had the red team and the blue team, and they were fighting in these hills back this way.
Yeah.
And
I think they went on towards Lebanon. They went
Back
I
and
think I
forth.
remember getting on them.
towards Coffee County.
Coffee
I don't
County.
believe they marched around here. They
They
just
did. I can remember them marching in a straight line. As far as I could see, there was a straight line, and they were dressed in their dress uniforms, and their shoes were spit shined and polished. I mean, they just shined, and I
Oh,
thought,
yeah.
you know, it was dusty, and I thought, how does they keep their shoes so shiny?
Dusty dirt road here
Yeah,
before it
uh-huh.
had a paved road, you know.
Yeah, that down
Hey.
by us was the dirt road then.
They,
Or,
what was it,
gravel
March,
road, I
and
guess.
like I say,
yeah.
got dirted and dusted,
Mhm.
and
Well, it's been a joy to interview you.
Oh.
You're just a precious young man. I loved it every second.
yeah,
Were you born in the 30s, I guess?
25.
25?
Uncle Winston, did you ever interact with the German scientist there at AEDC that they brought over here?
Say again.
The scientist, the German scientist.
Oh well,
Did you ever
yeah,
interact
I
with
had
him?
trouble with one German scientist. I couldn't understand him. His English wasn't good enough for it, so I had
Was his
problems.
name Von Braun?
Von Braun, and
Was it
oh, I done
Goldberg?
forgotten. What was
Was there-
another name? I can't remember.
Was there a
But anyway,
Gothard?
Gothard?
Gothard. That was one of the names.
Yeah, I went to school with his two sons. He had
That's
twin
right.
sons, yeah.
Yeah.
Where? In Coffee?